Welcome to Universal Movie Insights. From Hollywood to Bollywood, sci-fi to thrillers, we break down every film in Hindi and English, uncovering hidden details and exciting insights. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos.
This story begins by showing France in the year 1815. This was the time when poor and weak people were tortured. At this time, we also see a prison where there were many prisoners. Among them was Jean, a prisoner who was sentenced to 19 years. His only crime was that he stole bread to feed his hungry nephew. He was given such a big punishment for just this mistake. The jailer here hated Jean a lot. That is why he always used to make him do hard work, which was obviously very difficult. He used to do this so that he could calm his hatred for Jean. But then the jailer gives him a paper. That means Jean was released on parole. Now the jailer tells him that releasing him on parole does not mean that we have released you for sure, but you will have to keep coming and meeting me, and you will also have to keep your behavior very good in front of people. Now because he had got parole, so he is very happy, and now he wanders from place to place in search of a job. But when his documents are seen, which were obviously of parole, no one gives him work. Everyone thinks that he is a criminal. That is why he has to spend the night on the streets and the day in search of a job. Now, one day, a priest came to him. He felt pity on seeing Jin's condition. He brings him to his house and makes him sit with him and feeds him food in silver utensils. Now, seeing the silver utensils, greed came in his heart. That is why at night, after everyone sleeps, he steals the silver utensils and runs away from there. But soon, the priest's people catch him, and he is immediately brought in front of the priest. He was bored and scared. The priest tells his people that I had given him these silver utensils, so he should be released. After this, 8 years pass in the story, and we are shown Jean again. Today, he has his own factory, and he is the mayor of the place where he lives. A girl named Fantin used to work in his factory. He also had a daughter about whom no one knew, because he was not married, and his daughter lived with her uncle. And today, when the women working with him came to know that he has an unmarried daughter, everyone turns against him and starts abusing him. Hearing the noise, Jean also came here, but before he could calm everyone down, his eyes fell on the jailer whose parole he had broken and escaped. It is revealed that he has also been transferred to the same city, and now he is the police chief.
While they were talking, they hear noise from outside. Both of them run outside and find out that one of Jean's workers had come under the car, seeing which Jean himself starts lifting the car. Now seeing his style of lifting the car, the police chief recognizes him that this is the same man who had escaped 8 years ago by breaking parole, when I was the jailer. But at the moment, he does not have any proof against Jean. Now Fantine is shown who has to sell her hair for money, but this money was not enough for her. So she is forced to do that work which she never wanted to do. Actually, she had to send money to uncle for her daughter at any cost, due to which she had to do this. Now many days pass like this. One day, Fantine's health deteriorates a lot, and a man tries to force himself on her. In anger, she scratches his face, due to which police chief was called here. Then that man lies that I was just going from here, but he attacked me. Hearing this, Fantine started crying. In her defense, she says that this man is lying. I harmed him when he tried to force himself on me. But the police chief does not believe her words and talks about sending her to jail. Then she says that if I go to jail, what will happen to my daughter? She is very young right now. Now the police chief had heard her. Also, he recognizes Fantine that she is my worker. That is why he tells the police chief to leave her. And now Jean asks her that tell me who is responsible for your condition. So Fantine angrily says that all this has happened because of you. I used to work in your factory, right? But despite you, your manager made false allegations against me and fired me from the job. Because of which, even though I did not want to, I had to do all that which led to my condition today. Jean is completely shocked to hear this. He also felt bad that because of me, a girl is in this condition today. She is very injured. So, Jean himself picks her up and takes her to the hospital. Now the police chief comes to Jean. He says that please forgive me because I thought you to be a criminal who had escaped from parole because that criminal has been caught. Jean is completely shocked to hear this. He thinks that which innocent has been caught in my place and which poor person is getting punished. He could not tolerate this, so he himself goes to the court and says there that I am the person who had escaped by breaking parole 8 years ago. I had torn that paper, so instead of me, someone else is getting that punishment, which I do not want because I am the criminal and not him. But no one believes his words. Everyone thinks that he has lost his mind. After which, Jean goes to the hospital where Fantine was admitted, but her condition was very bad. She's counting her last breaths, but even at this time she's worried about her daughter. Jean tells him that you should not worry about your daughter. I will always take care of her, with which Fantine died, due to which Jean feels very sad. Then the police chief also comes here, who tells him that yes, you were right that you are the prisoner. I have recognized you. That is why I want to arrest you. Jean said that do not do this now. Please, I have to take care of Fantine's daughter. Once I finish my work, then I will come to my senses and hand myself over to you. But he was not ready to listen to Jean. Therefore, a fight breaks out between the two, but Jean escapes from there after getting a chance. Now we are shown Fantine's daughter, whose name is Cosette. It is revealed that her uncle is not a good person. He gets all the work done by Cosette and always waits for Fantine's money. Then Jean comes here, who takes Cosette with him by giving a huge amount of money. Now, 9 years have passed in the story, after which we are shown the scene of Paris. There was a group of people who were rebels and had rebelled against the government because they did not like the principles of the government, and these poor people were not taken care of. Among them was a boy who was a student, and now when he sees Cosette, he falls in love at first sight. She had been living with Jean for the last 9 years and he had raised Cosette. Now in this crowd, that student boy tries to find her everywhere, but he does not find Cosette anywhere. Then Cosette's uncle and his entire family also come to Paris. As soon as they see Jean, they catch him and demand more money from him in exchange for Cosette. In the meantime, the police chief also arrives here, on seeing whom Jean and Cosette run away. Then the police chief came to Cosette's uncle, but he lied that a man has stolen my daughter from me and run away. Hearing this, the police chief said that you do not worry, we will find that man soon and bring your daughter to you. On the other side, the student was with his rebel friends, where a child comes and gives them the news that the general has died. Hearing this, the student and everyone become very sad because the general was the person who always used to support the poor. Then the student's friend came to him, whom he had given the task of finding Cosette. She tells that I have found her. Actually, this friend of the student does not know that Cosette is his cousin because this girl is the daughter of Cosette's uncle. Now he becomes very happy after hearing Cosette. On the other hand, Cosette tells her heart's feelings to Jean. She said that I also love that boy. But Jean explained to her that do not think so much about this son because we do not have time to do all this. But Cosette tells him she could not forget. Now, the student comes to meet Cosette, and here he expresses his love.
Cosette's cousin felt very bad. She hears all this. She started crying in sorrow because she always liked this boy. But till today, she did not pay attention to this. Cosette also tells him her heart's feelings, and here both of them became friends. But then she heard Jean's voice, so she goes to her house. Cosette's uncle's daughter also started going towards her house sadly. But then she saw that her dad is going towards Cosette's house with some police officers because he wants to get both of them arrested. But Cosette's cousin stopped her dad, after which she made noise. Hearing the voice, Jean gets a hint that there is some danger. That is why he decides that I will go to England forever with my daughter Cosette. Before leaving, Cosette writes a letter for her friend and gives it to her uncle's daughter so that she can deliver it to the boy, and he also gets to know that she is going to England. Now, when the funeral of the general takes place, when he is being taken for burial, many rebels are also standing there. They started a protest after the death of the general. That is, they started protesting against the government because they wanted to topple the government here. Now, the government gives the task of stopping this protest to the police chief, who intends to find out about the protest and catch their big rebel leaders, for which he disguises himself as a rebel and joins them. But a child recognizes him, so all the rebels catch him. But at night, the police attacked these rebels, and unfortunately, a bullet also hits Cosette's cousin. But before dying, she gives the letter to Cosette's friend. Because she was a good person, she was not at all like her parents. After which, she died. And now Cosette's friend reads that letter and writes a letter for her too, which she gives to a child and tells him to give it to Cosette. Now, when Jean gets the letter and when he reads it, he also realizes that Cosette and that boy love each other very much. Also, he wants to save that boy because he realizes that in the current situation of the city, his life can be lost any time. That is why the next day he goes to the place in the guise of a policeman where the police had set up barricades. Then the rebels reach there and catch Jean. But before they can harm him, the same child recognizes him and says that he is our companion. That is why he was released. Then Jean sees that these people have held the police chief captive. A noose has been tied around his neck because these rebels wanted to kill him. Now Jean tells them to hand him over to me. I will kill him myself. After which he takes the police officer down and tells him to run away from here. He intentionally shoots a bullet on the wall, hearing the sound of which all the rebels think that he has killed the police chief. The next day, the police attacks these people, in which all the rebels are killed. A bullet also hits Cosette's friend, due to which he gets injured. Now Jean somehow survived, who goes into the sewer through a pipe to save his life, and the condition of both of them worsens. The next day, here, the police chief finds who see the dead bodies of all the rebels. They also find the dead body of that small child, whom they had seen alive only yesterday, due to which the heart of the police chief is completely broken. The child had always done good work, and now the police chief takes off his badge and places it on the dead body of the child as a mark of respect. He noticed that Cosette's friend's body was missing, and then his eyes fell on the pipe in the sewers from where Jean had taken Cosette's friend. The police chief began to suspect that he must have escaped through this pipe. Meanwhile, Jean and Cosette's friend were unconscious in the sewers. Cosette's uncle came to them, and because he was a very greedy person, he took away the ring from Cosette's friend's hand. But then Jean's eyes opened. He caught hold of him and asked him to tell him the way out of here. This place was actually like a trap. Those people were trapped. They were not able to find a way out. That is why he was forced to ask Cosette's uncle to show them the way. And now when both of them came out from there, the police chief was standing in front of them. Now Jean told him that please do not stop us, let us go, because it is very important for me to save this boy's life. So the police chief did not stop them, and both of them left from here. Because somewhere in the heart of the police chief there was a feeling of shame, and he wanted to wash away his crimes. So he himself jumped from the roof and gave up his life. After a few days, Cosette's friend also regained consciousness, and when he came to know that all his companions were killed, he became very sad. But he was relieved that now Cosette is with him. Jean tells him the whole truth of his life. He also said that I will never tell Cosette about this, or else she will break down. After which Jean goes away from both of them forever, because he did not want that because of his past, Cosette and his friend's life should be affected. They should face any trouble. After this, Cosette and his friend decide to get married. But before that, Cosette's uncle and his wife come here once again. His uncle started blackmailing Cosette's friend that if you don't give me money, then I will tell everyone that you were a rebel and you also protested against the government. He also tells that on the day when all your rebel friends were killed, Jean saved your life. Actually, before this, he did not know that Jean saved his life. He was unconscious at that time, and now after hearing this, he realizes that Jean has done a great favor on me, and I let him go like this. That is why he asks Cosette's uncle for Jean's address. Now, although he did not want to tell, but when Cosette's friend attacked him, he is forced to tell Jean, and now he takes Cosette to the place where Jean was. Jean's health deteriorates a lot. He was completely alone. He is taking the last breaths of life. Before dying, Fantine's soul came to him and said, "Thank you very much. You took such good care of my daughter." In the meantime, Cosette and his friend also reach there. Now Jean, while dying, gives a letter to Cosette and says that after his death, this letter must be read. After saying this, he also dies, due to which Cosette and his friend are completely shattered. After death, we are shown Jean's soul, which is with Fantine. Here she also meets the priest, whose one favor changed Jean's whole life. If he had not given him that silver utensil and a chance to escape from there, then perhaps he would have spent his whole life rotting in jail. Although his life had no meaning, but he did good deeds due to which the purpose of his life changed. And as the priest had said to help others, so he followed this thing very well. Whenever he got a chance, he helped everyone, due to which he happily embraced death. And the letter that he gave to Cosette contained the whole truth about Jean. That means he also knew everything about Jean's past. That is why she will always remember Jean in good words, and his soul will also be at peace knowing that he did not hide anything from anyone.
He had made a place in everyone's heart. That is why he was so happy even after his death. And with this, the story of this film ends here.